Welcome, everyone, to the Jason Kinzler Family First Foundation Facebook Live fundraiser. I'm Jennifer Pasqua, and it is truly an honor to be your virtual host this evening. So, over the next 30 minutes or so, we'll be talking about how this foundation came to be and how it helps those grieving families in West Michigan financially get through the tough time after a recent loss of a primary caregiver. Now, this is a fundraiser for the foundation, and you can see at the bottom of our screen, we have a text to give scrolling, and all you have to do, text Kinzler to 50155 and donate any denomination that you are able to give. And it doesn't matter how much you give, it will still all add up to make a profound impact on this foundation. So, for the entire time, our premier sponsor, Amway Global, will be matching your donations, even better, to help those families that the Kinzler Foundation supports. So we hope this encourages you to give what you can. By the way, I want to tell you there's a party going on right now, and I want to show you where it's happening. There is a watch party, and I believe our friend Seth is going to showcase exactly what is happening. He may still be working on it. We'll have to go back to him in just a minute. But there is a watch party hosted by Amy Hayes where they're doing an end of summer barbecue watch party at Cannonsburg. Oh, there he is. Let's showcase exactly what's happening right there. You can see a wide variety of individuals are there enjoying and having a watch party right now. You can see that they've got the laptop all set up, but there they are enjoying a watch party in support of the Jason Kinzler Family First Foundation. And we thank them so much for doing that. We got some waves there. Wonderful. And again, this is an event that's truly one that is going to have a great deal of impact to those who will benefit from exactly what it is that the Kinzler Family First Foundation does. Now, as you know, the loss of a primary caregiver is hard enough, but to lose two is almost unthinkable. And that's what happened to Ryan Hartley and his brother and sister. And I want to bring Ryan to the screen right now. Ryan, you are joining us, and this is an opportunity for you to share exactly how it's been for your family to be able to get connected with the Kinzler Family First Foundation and really benefit from what it is that they offer, right?
Yeah, well, first off, thank you for having me. It's an absolute honor. Just a little bit of background. So I was fortunate to be raised by two very loving parents in the incredible community of Rockford, Michigan. I'm from a family of six. My dad, Scott, my mom, Chris. I'm the oldest of four siblings, Connor, Colin, and Taylor. We've always been very close and family oriented. I think I can speak on behalf of my siblings when I say God and family have always been the two most important things in our lives. So my senior year in high school, my dad was driving home from coaching my brother Colin's football practice. He had a heart attack. It was completely unexpected. He ended up crashing into the wall right downtown. He battled for his life that whole night. And he was pronounced dead early the next morning. My dad and I were really close, so it felt like not only did I lose my dad, but I lost my best friend. But thankfully, our family, our friends in the great community of Rockford enshrouded us with a lot of love, which was much needed. It was extremely touching, and I mean, really, it was just invaluable. But as you would expect, my siblings and I all took the loss extremely hard. And I think ultimately we came together stronger than ever. We kind of just were determined to take the adversity and make sure that we were the right type of people and make good decisions in honor of my dad. And, being the oldest of four siblings, our loss kind of thrust me into the father figure role. I embraced that, and I felt like it was an honor and a privilege to be such for my siblings, who I think are truly like some of the best people in the world. So I feel very fortunate for that. As our life kind of started to settle back down and we got back on track, we felt like we could finally get a fair crack at life. And Connor and Colin both ended up at U of M, and my little sister Taylor was thriving. So things were going well. Then the unthinkable happened. My mother was found dead in her apartment unexpectedly. Heartbreaking doesn't really feel like an adequate word to describe the pain. It feels like our entire foundation was just ripped out from under us, and financially we were left with nothing. So put a lot of stress and pressure on me as the oldest, but we were thankful we still had God and a wonderful community that came to our rescue. We received so much love and support. One of those people included is Amy Hayes. I was fortunate enough to talk with her, and she put me in touch with Seth Yan, and the foundation just immediately reached out and began helping. It's just really touching to see a group of people that didn't even really know me or my family personally just step in without any pause and just help any way that they could and ask for nothing in return. It was an absolute blessing, and I think a testament to the strong relationships that they forged with the community, their altruism, and their desire to make a difference for people who need it.
Yeah, wow. That is an amazing story. So, how old were you then, Ryan, by the time both of your parents had passed?
So when my father passed, I was 17. And then my mother just passed away recently. I'm 26 now.
And so you've had to take care of your siblings. And tell me what it means to have the financial burdens kind of lifted for a time. I would assume it allowed you to focus on the other stuff, right?
Yeah. The foundation helped bear the financial burden that comes along with, losing a parent, but being that we didn't have either of them, it just alleviated so much stress for me. There are some expenses that come up that you'd never expect, and it just really allowed all of us to grieve, spend time together, and focus on what's important. And the help was absolutely crucial, having no parents. So it allowed us to all stay on track in school, and I just really can't emphasize how much of a relief it was.
And so obviously, Ryan, there are so many different organizations that are asking for support at this time, being that you know specifically what it is that the Kinzler Foundation does to help families just like yours. What would you say to people who may just be now tuning in? If they are, we welcome them, but the ask to really support a foundation like this, what would you say to them?
Yeah, so speaking from experience, there's really no substitute for financial stability in a situation like that. It's something that my family didn't have for a long time, and it's an extremely heavy burden to bear. But the financial support that we received from them was a reprieve from fear. It allowed us to grieve, and it really allowed us to maintain our trajectories with our education. So I think, to put it simply, it allowed me to still pursue my dreams of becoming a doctor. And like I said, it's just invaluable. We'll always cherish the support forever. And
Yeah.
I can say that we promise to pass on the same generous, compassionate spirit that we've been shown, just as Jason Kinzler has done. So I just really can't thank everyone enough.
Yeah, and we've got Christy on screen right now. Christy Kinzler, of course, founder of Jason Kinzler Family First Foundation. Christy, any words that you would like to share with Ryan in sharing his story, which I know, thank you, Ryan, it's so difficult to kind of look back at those moments because, we're only human. And so I can feel you're getting choked up and getting emotional at some points when you're sharing that story. So thank you, because it's times like this that can really make a difference for people who are wondering, where can I donate to next? This is a place where they can donate to. And Christy, anything you'd like to say to Ryan?
Just thank you, Ryan. Thank you for being a part of this. I'm so sorry for your loss, and I understand on a different level. But this is we do this in Jason's honor, and thank you. Just thank you for sharing your story. You're a wonderful speaker, and those were incredibly heartfelt words. And now I have to talk, and I have to talk after you. So
thank you so much.
No, thank you so much.
All right. Well, Ryan, we thank you for joining us. I'll let you watch from the other view as other people are also watching. So it was nice to meet you, and thank you again for sharing your story.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, wow, Christy, my goodness. And this is just one of the many stories we'll be hearing tonight. And it's hard not to get choked up when
Mhm.
you can hear, like you can relate, but boy, he's really walked in those steps and knows truly how much this has
Mhm.
meant to him. Um,
Mhm.
and now let's talk about your story. Of course, many of you who are joining us tonight knew Jason Kinzler. He was a former Grand Valley State football player, the picture of health, and never a reason to believe that he wasn't going to be with us for many years. But on May 14th, 2011, changed all of that when Jason died of an unknown heart condition just 1 mile from finishing the riverbank run, leaving behind, of course, his wife, Christy, who is with us right now, and his children. And I want to also bring to the screen, give a chance to talk to one of your children who is with us right now. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her on. We've got Hannah. Hello, Hannah. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. You're joining us from where right now?
I am in my apartment on Michigan State's campus in East Lansing.
Okay. Okay. Well, the whole idea of out of every tragedy comes the need to find purpose. And clearly your family has done that. And this is where the idea for the Jason Kinzler Family First Foundation was forged. It is a foundation based in love, honoring a memory, and giving other grieving families a chance to focus on what's important during a very difficult time. We heard Ryan talk about that by putting their family first. So, Christy, let's start with you. As the founder, I want you to share with me, what you've seen and how you've seen the foundation grow and how this is truly a way to honor your husband.
Mm-hmm. Losing Jason, and I love hearing, when we hear like he was a great football player, he was such a fabulous friend and coworker, brother, son, husband, father. He was the consummate family man, and family meant everything to him. So to be able to carry really his legacy and who he was and what he stood for forward in his honor and pass it on is just means the world to us. And here, it's been over 9 years that Jason passed away. And when he passed away, it was so unexpected, so tragic. And as even listening to Ryan, those feelings, even though it was 9 years ago, it's so raw and still difficult to talk about. It completely shattered our world. You wake up one morning and you have this great life and things are going along, and then within a blink of an eye, everything changes, and really life as we knew it would really never be the same. The kids were young. The kids were 10, 8, and 6. And now I have an almost 20-year-old. Hannah's in her second year at college, and Jake is a senior in high school, and Josh is a sophomore. But really, the story of how it all came to be, again, I'm referencing Ryan again, but really it was God's hand, how it all came to be. 4 months after Jason passed away, I took a full-time counseling job at a middle school. And ironically, on the first day that I was working, the principal asked the school social worker and myself to talk to one of the 6th grade classes about a tragedy that happened over the weekend. One of their classmates' fathers had passed away. And, as the counselor in the school, it was brought to my attention. They didn't have life insurance or health insurance. They were trying to raise funds for a funeral. And here was this great community rallying together and trying to, and I'm thinking, okay, there has to be more. They no longer had their primary source of income. And so what we found in looking for resources, that there really was not any financial assistance available to them under these circumstances. So it was around the same time that a group of Jason's closest friends and coworkers had approached me and shared that they wanted to form a running team to run in Jay's honor in the upcoming Fifth Third Riverbank run. Their idea originally was to raise funds to set up an education fund for my children. And that's so generous, but we were going to be okay. And part of the reason we were going to be okay is because we had so much support from our family, our friends, and the community. So I shared with that same group what had happened on my first day of school experience, and how I'd had the privilege of getting to know this wonderful family, who was in need of assistance, so they could focus on one another and just grieve. And at the end of the day, I can't imagine how I could have navigated grief for myself or for my 3 little ones if I would have had to worry about how we were going to pay a house payment or get groceries or pay bills. So I talked to that group about wanting to start a foundation. And, it was a group of bankers and a guy with some marketing experience and me, the counselor. So it was not something that any of us really had any experience about or with, but that kind of looked at it and said, how do we start a foundation that would help families who experience what we did in May of 2011? Because there's a need in our community for families who are dealing with unexpected loss and may not have the same resources available to them that we were so fortunate to have. So they listened, and from that moment on, they were all in, and they still are. So,
well, I want to ask Hannah. Hannah, I mean, obviously, you were so young when this happened, and when the foundation started. How has it been growing up and watching this foundation grow? And you just heard Ryan share how much it has helped him and his siblings. So, give me your take about how it's really impacted your life.
This foundation has become a part of our family's identity, so that really means a lot to me. And to think that because of my dad and everything he did to make sure that we were taken care of has allowed us to help others is pretty awesome. And I've also really appreciated being able to meet families that we've helped, because not everyone understands what it's like to go through losing a parent. So that's something that really connects us all.
Yeah, and you can see we have so many sponsors that have been on board to help this foundation. It's got to make you and your brothers feel so good.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I thank you, Hannah, for sharing with that. We're going to check back in with you a little later. So we're going to come back with you in just a moment. So as we're waiting, Christy, on your sons hopefully to be back in time for this event, I also want to acknowledge that we do have many sponsors that have really supported you from this beginning. And one of our sponsors tonight, Mercantile Bank, was there from the beginning, offering the Help Fund, the Jason Kinzler Family First Foundation. Tell me about that relationship.
Well, Jason was an employee of Mercantile, but when to say that, that they have always, from the moment of Jason's passing, they continue to, again, almost 9 years later, and they still treat us like family. Mercantile is our family, right from the beginning. Again, it was when I talked about, that meeting with Jason's friends and coworkers, that was in a boardroom at Mercantile when we all kind of sat down and said, how do we start a foundation? So my thanks to them goes beyond words. They have always been our biggest supporter they stand behind what they do. And I love that, they know Jason, they knew him, and they knew what he stood for. So to be able to help us continue to carry forth that legacy is incredible.
Yeah. Okay. We have a lot of people. I'm seeing the numbers tick up a little bit. So if you're just joining us, this is the Jason Kinzler Family First Foundation. It is a Facebook Live fundraiser for this group. We thank you so much for taking the time to see what's going on. If this is the first time you're learning about this, if you feel compelled during this time to donate, reminder, we have a text to give scrolling at the bottom of the screen. That's text Kinzler to 50155. And again, we already have people making donations. Oh, look at that. Zach, Kim, and Josh, thank you for your donations. We appreciate you, and more donations coming in as well. Drew, Pam, Jim, and Mark. So, Christy, this has got to feel good. We're definitely seeing the numbers grow so that you can help more families.
Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we're going to move on now to something else that we want to share, because given that you've had to shift what this program looked like before, you already had planned on bringing a speaker to the event, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So another supporter of the Jason Kinzler Family First Foundation is former Detroit quarterback Eric Hipple. And we want to share an interview that board member Valerie Lego did with him. And he's going to share his own story of loss. And I really would love for you to just sit back, listen. He has a lot to share in terms of his own process of realizing grief and learning how to deal with it. So we're going to show that interview right now.
Hi, Eric. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time tonight.
Thanks, Valerie. It's good to see you and happy to be here for this occasion.
Yes. Now, I see, of course, the football paraphernalia in the background of the Detroit Lions. You know, everybody remembers that Monday night game. So we just have to ask you first, like, what's a little tidbit from that famous game that you remember?
Well, one thing that not many people know is I had a 94-yard touchdown pass during that game. And it was the wrong route. It was a receiver. I was very fortunate to find him, and so as I was getting knocked down because of the blitz, I found him on the ball. He caught it. Of course, the pass wasn't 94 yards. He caught it after about 30 yards, and then took off and ran all the way down for a 94-yard touchdown. And I was laying on my back, going, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe that worked out." Believe me.
It was definitely a game that's a highlight of many Detroit Lions fans for sure. But there came a point in your life where you had to change your focus from football to another path. And that is when your son, Jeff, committed suicide.
Yes, he died by suicide, and when he was 15 years old. And I was already going through some of my own transitional issues, after football and all that's happened. And so not being able to pick up on certain things, signs. I was going through my own issues, and unfortunately we lost him, and it came crashing down on me and my family. And I will say one thing I really appreciate about the Kinzler Foundation is they reach out to families who have had, the loss of a head of household.
Yeah, and it's that emotional support that comes in right away that can sometimes make a difference. And that's what really got you involved in being a mental health advocate.
It did, and after I finally crashed and burned myself, and I'm talking in a legal way with the DUI, it was how do I change this? I don't want this to be the direction my life takes, and I don't want it to be the legacy of my son either. So what do you do? And just education. What is it that happened to me? What happened to him? Let me find out what that is. And it was actually through some great support myself that supported myself through that transitional piece, to learn about depression, to learn about mental illness, to learn about treatments, and also what we can do, to intervene before suicide happens, and then afterwards, when there is a death that takes place. How do we help support the family in a mentally fit way to help bring them back so they can have a quality of life again?
And what are some of the things that you've learned over the years? Because you've been doing this for a while.
I have. The main thing that I've learned really is that things happen to us. Tragedies happen to us. But we still are in control of what we do next. And that's the most important piece, is understanding that emotions that drive us because of certain things that do happen. Transitions are what happens to us. Transformations is what we do about it. And so trying to transform away from a trauma, a tragedy, does happen to do with support systems, being connected, but also our point of view, what we can do about it and help ourselves. And that's the point that we always can control. And learning that is very difficult when something trauma has happened to you.
And being able to talk about it with other people who have gone through it, and being able to give people encouragement has really been a focus of your life.
It has, and even the peer-to-peer programs we put together, and the outreach. I think the main thing is processing, because when something's happened to you that's traumatic, especially with kids, trying to process. How do you get them to process that emotion and that information, and so they change the way they might feel about it or the perception of it. And it's about that processing, communication, and support. All three of them are very important.
And so you step in with the foundations to help in that critical emotional time. It's much similar to the way the Jason Kinzler Family First Foundation steps in financially to help those families that may suddenly find themselves without a caregiver, and one person has to step up and suddenly bear the financial burden in addition to the emotional burden. And so I wanted to talk with you a little bit about why you support the Jason Kinzler Family First Foundation.
I support it because the changing the direction of a family when they're in need. And let's talk about kids for a second. A trauma can actually last a lifetime if it's not supported, taken care of, and also that family feels whole again. The traumas happen, of course, it affects our emotions, it affects our point of view, our perceptions, and families can break apart, especially under financial stress. And that's one of the most difficult things to do. If you can handle that piece of it, then you start working on the emotional standpoint and what we do about it. Because trauma can turn into, especially for children, trauma can turn into triumph. I mentioned earlier, like my daughter, who's, went through, when I wasn't available to her emotionally and in some points physically, she is now master's. She's got her master's. She's seeing patients as a licensed counselor, and so it changed her life. That support piece that she got and therapy that she got, and I think that's what the Kinzler Foundation does. It comes at a time of need when it can be devastating, and it actually saves lives after death has taken place.
And we certainly have so many success stories that have come out of the Kinzler Foundation that we love to share and love knowing that we helped these families move forward. And so we thank you for your support. We thank you for joining us tonight. But hey, I can't let you go without one more football question. What do you think the Lions season is going to be like this year? Do you think they'll have a winning season?
Well, see, this is the year I'd like to play because, there's no booing. Yeah, they're going to start the season out with no fans. They are going to play, and I actually think players will still perform. Maybe not that adrenaline super rush that you get when people are screaming and cheering for you, but however, they perform professionally just like you would if it was a scrimmage, like it's during practice, and certainly in the game because it means something.
Well, thank you again, Eric, for joining us tonight, and also thank you for your support of the Jason Kinzler Family First Foundation.
My pleasure, and thank you for everyone else that supports the Kinzler Foundation.
Yeah, so Christy, my goodness, what an opportunity to have him speak for us, even if it had to be done virtually. Mm-hmm. He is a phenomenal speaker, and boy, what a supporter he's become for the Jason Kinzler Family First Foundation.
Absolutely, yes, we appreciate it so much.
Yeah, so now I should tell you, we're going to be doing a little giveaway. He has a book, Real Men Don't Cry, or Do Cry, rather. You can see it right there. And I think we want to do a giveaway. So we have 10 books that he donated. So how about the first 10 people to donate? I don't know. Want to throw an amount out there, Christy?
$50.
$50. First 10 people to donate $50 they're going to get their own copy of Real Men Do Cry, of course, by Eric Hipple. And we have so many donations coming through. I just want to acknowledge that because it's really great to see the people who are donating. We've got Lauren, Craig, and Marcy. We thank you for your donation. Jeff and Dana, thank you so much for your donation. Are these names looking familiar at all? Or
I love it.
Yeah. Oh, we got Kevin who made a donation too. So this is such a beautiful thing. Again, to donate, we're making it real simple for you. All you have to do is text Kinzler to 50155 to make your donation. And boy, it's going to make a big difference. So our next family story we want to share right now is with Carolyn Kepke. Now, Carolyn and Matt, her husband, were married for nearly 25 years, and they have 10 children. You heard me right, 10 children ranging in age from 2 to 25. And Matt's passions revolved around family, faith, and fishing. In fact, he actually passed away unexpectedly while fishing with their son, Jack. And so Carolyn learned about the foundation from someone at their children's school, and that followed with a visit with board president Jim Ayers and board member Ray Dimstra, along with his wife, Maggie. They actually met with Carolyn to see how the foundation could help. And I think now we'd love to be able to share her story because it is one that just, kind of takes your breath away. The fact that she had 10 kids and without the foundation's help, she says that she doesn't know where she truly would be at this time. So we're going to share her story, and here it is.
My husband died unexpectedly from a heart attack. So everything is kind of a blur. What happened those first couple of weeks? those first few months are just, you're just kind of walking around. I almost can't, I have no memory of that. I had many, family and friends who just really supported me greatly in that time with meals. And obviously someone reached out to me to let me know about the Kinzler Foundation, so I didn't have to concern myself with how I was going to make my house payment or my car payment for a few months. I couldn't imagine if I wouldn't have a place to live or I didn't have a car to get my kids to school. Just having that little bit of security really helped me figure out how I was going to navigate being a solo parent. Ray has always been really helpful in reaching out to me just to see how I'm doing. A lot of times, it's not just that they're there for the financial part, but that they truly care about the whole person. Jim had reached out to me and just gave me a really encouraging talk that, that I will be okay, that, I was really made for this, and it's what we do in times of, in times of troubles that really showcase our strength. Just knowing that I wasn't alone. My kids weren't alone in losing their father. Just the empathy that the Kinzler Foundation does have for widows and widowers. That can definitely reach out and contact them just for that type of support that you'll get from them and all the resources that they can point you to. While there definitely are many worthy charities to uphold a grieving family and to give them just one less thing financially that they have to be concerned with. There's just nothing that really can compare.
Whew, I tell you what, when I had the opportunity to talk with Carolyn and then put together, which by the way was a spontaneous taping because you could see her daughter was crawling all over mom and her hands are full. It was hard to even just edit that because you can't help but feel exactly what it is that she's feeling and her true gratefulness, Christy, of being able to have a foundation, like she said, step in so that she could have that time to grieve and help her kids grieve. She had shared all of those photographs with me. And I said, Carolyn, just give me a couple of photographs. And she ended up sharing a great deal of photographs. And then we started talking and I said, wow, it's amazing how strong you are and how much that many people who are in your shoes would admire what you're doing. And she would always bring it back to, because of the Kinzler Foundation, I was able to pick myself up. And so that's got to feel good on your part that you're truly making a difference.
Right. And it really is stories like Carolyn's that reaffirm that what we're doing, like what this foundation is doing, is helping families within our own West Michigan community and allowing them to grieve without worrying where groceries are going to come from or if they can keep their home. We've helped more than 120 families, but there's still more that need our help. Like, sadly, this need is not going away. And in fact, it's growing. And so I'll reference what I said earlier and just thinking of my own experience. during those first few months. Carolyn talked about, it's really a blur. Yeah, it's a blur. And I cannot begin to imagine how I would have navigated grief for myself or for my children. And referring to what Eric said, Eric was trauma. It's traumatic. Children's brains change with trauma, and losing the death of a parent or a primary caregiver is trauma. And if I would have had to worry about paying bills or groceries or how to feed my family. So, with your help, this is how we continue to help families. This is how we move forward, help them move forward during this most difficult time. So please consider donating.
Yeah, and people are answering that plea. We've got Maggie and Katie. They got the Hippo book. So you know what? They took advantage of the opportunity to give that $50 mark. We appreciate them. We've got Nancy, Pat, Joe, and Rochelle. They apparently got to the Hippo books as well. And Troy and Carrie, thank you so much for your donation. And this is amazing. This continues to grow, and the more funds we bring in, the more we are able to truly help others who, again, have been in this situation that they were not expecting to be in. And so we want to talk about the impact of your support right now. Oh, but wait, look, we've got a comment from Eric. Very proud to be part of this event and part of this foundation and its mission. Eric, thank you so much. You've made us very happy with your support. That truly means a lot. So let's take a look at the sponsored dollars, the donation breakdown, if you would. This is a great way to kind of get an idea of where your money is going to go. So you could donate $250. That will help with 1 month of health insurance premium for a family in need, 2 weeks of food and groceries for a family in need, 2 weeks of childcare. Wow, that really does help, right? You got a $500 donation where it's a month of mortgage or rent payments for a family in need. It also pays for a month of food and groceries, a month of car payments. These are things that you don't necessarily think of, right, Christy? That as you begin to move forward, you still got to deal with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We've got the $1,000 donation mark. That's 2 months of mortgage rent payments for a family in need, 2 months of groceries, 2 months of car payments, childcare, and 1 cremation burial service. $5,000 will set the average cost of a full funeral and viewing service, the full financial needs of a family for 4 to 6 months. So, whatever level you can give, even the $10,000 donation, please consider giving a beautiful gift that will truly help many families here in West Michigan. How many requests are you getting, Christy, on, let's say, a monthly basis?
It varies. I think in the last month, though, we've had 4 or 5 just in this last month. So it varies. And I feel like the more, part of our mission too is, we want awareness. We want the community to know that we're out there when they hear of a sudden or unexpected loss and there are children involved. We want to be there. We want people to remember the Kinzler Foundation is there to help. So again, like an event like this, yes, this is, a fundraising event, and we could not continue to do what we're doing without the support and love and assistance from all of you, but also spread the awareness, make sure that people know who we are and what we stand for and the families that we are helping.
Yeah, we've got Ray Abraham commenting here. So pleased to see the progress and maturity of the Jason Kinzler Family First Foundation. Your solid board and donors have had a huge impact. And our family will, he didn't finish his sentence there, but I'm sure he's going to say that his family will continue to support what it is that you're doing. And Hannah, you're watching, and it's really cool to see so many people supporting this, isn't it?
Yes. It's so special. Just seeing all the donations even coming through while just watching this is incredible. Thank you so much to everyone who's donating. It really does mean a lot to us.
Yeah, we went a little over time, but that's okay, because every dollar that's coming into this time is being matched tonight thanks to our sponsor, Amway Global. So if you were thinking of maybe giving $100, why not $150? And then double that donation, it will be a $300 donation. And so if you're considering your donation, keep that in mind, because it is going to be a match. And so, Christy, any final thoughts as we kind of wrap up our time together?
Really, I just want to say thank you. Some of our donors and our sponsors have been with us since day one. Others we've picked up along the way, but we consider all of you a part of our family, our foundation family. And I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud of how we've grown. I'm really proud of the families that we've helped and been able to connect with. And again, we just ask for your consideration in donating, and it allows us to help even more families.
Oh, truly. And Hannah, on your end too, anything else that you would like to say to those who have donated to this foundation that truly means so much to your family as well?
Yes, just thank you so much. It's so incredible, just everything that this foundation has been able to do, and seeing it help others is just incredible, especially because, like I said earlier, they have gone through similar things to what I have and what our family has. Just thank you so much.
And we want to remind people that this doesn't mean that things are over in terms of the ability to give, because we want to bring up the website. This is always available for you to donate to, and it's easy to do because you can just hit that little donate now button right there. You're also on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. And so it's so great that we have the ability to continue to find ways to share. And I want to go back to Seth, who is out at this watch party, but I think they may be having a little too much fun out there right now. They're moving around a little bit, or we're gonna try to get back to him one last time if we can. Meanwhile, we want to let you know that the text to give option, text Kinzler to 50155. This is still going to be available to do after this live event. Okay, there we go. We've got the crew here. I want to make sure we give them a little shout out. There they are. And the group that is having a watch party, we appreciate them. Seth, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but let's see a shot of the crowd if we can. Oh, did he disappear on us? He might have disappeared on us. Okay, but we appreciate them for really supporting this cause. And Christy, Hannah, it's a beautiful thing that you're doing, and I've been very blessed to see and learn more about this. And certainly, I will share with all of my circles too. So, congratulations! I think that what you've really envisioned has become a true reality.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Again, text to donate Kinzler to 50155. You can also do so on the website, clicking on that donation now link. Bye-bye, everybody.